Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Kerbal Space Program, brought to you from the surface of Duna. So I said in the last episode that I was going to hike over to another biome and collect some more surface samples and EVA data. Well, it turned out those were way too far. I was like, I walked for a couple minutes, there was no change on the map, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to turn around, because there's no point to do it. So I've done that, and I've actually gone and collected, where's the actual ladder? Click right there. I've collected all the science and everything from all the containers, brought them into the tin can, and we are ready for launch over here. So, we do have a reaction wheel. It'd be nice if we had a hardcore reaction wheel, but yeah, we had a little bit in the capsule, which means, like, we do get a little bit of a shift of orientation, which is nice. Problem is, if I just lock it up, when we take off, we will hit our engine. So I want to build up a little bit of speed. RCS will help. This is going to be very, very tricky. Very, very tricky. Oh, we want to go and tuck this in. I think we can technically launch. I guess if we went to kill rot instead, I think we'll also use the RCS for this. Now, I can say with one of these, I don't know what ADV is, I can set an angle too. It'd be nice if we were rotated. Okay, we will start going. I have no idea if this... As soon as we get any speed, anything that's touching the ground will simply explode, won't it? I don't know if we can do this, but we're going to try our damnedest to pull it off. So I'm not going to set that up because I don't want to hit this. At least not right away. Okay. We're on kill rot, so we're basically going straight, which is fine. If I do want a little up, it's really S and A. Like set a target over here. S and A, that's the direction I want. Alright, nothing to do but to hit the RCS, hit the gas, and see what we can do. Oh my god. We just took off, you guys. Holy crap. Turn off the RCS. Holy crap. Where's East? Where's East? East is over that way. No, 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 no. What? There we go. Rotate. There we go. Gravity turn, basically. Kill rot. There we go. I want, like, SAS type stuff. Okay. Apoapsis is climbing. Yeah, just lock onto the horizon there. Luckily, the air is thin enough that these kinds of crazy maneuvers aren't necessarily the end of the world. I am... What's happening to my speed? There we go. Okay, let's go ahead and climb after all. I'm out of gas. That's as far as I could get. I could take off... Why am I still spinning like a crazy person? Oh my god, but I couldn't make it to orbit. Really? Did I use, like, too much coming down? Oh no. And I have no other parachutes. Uh-oh. Huh. How much Delta V do you need to take off? I wonder. Well, I really don't know. I guess we're just going to be we took off. I wonder if I could EVA and use my booster to actually get into orbit and then do a rescue job. May as well try, right? Since we're just going to die on landing anyway. Take data. Release. Turn on the RCS. So, which way were we orbiting? That way? Fuck it, I don't know. Which way is... I don't know. If we're increasing... No, none of this is going to work. Without the sun, I really can't... Oh, there's east. Shit, I've been burning the wrong way the whole time. I know the gravity is less. I know in Minmus you can do this. I almost certainly can't here. Oh yeah, if I turn my view, it changes things. Let's do it. Up and forward. Up and forward. Now, we're inside the atmosphere and everything. There's no way to do it. Oh no! Alright, well, I guess then we'll just time warp and watch, I don't have the mod for parachutes. Hey, look at this, we can do, Navy report above the lowlands. Excellent. I can't transmit it because I don't have an antenna. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jeb. I'm terribly sorry. Nope, that was my ship exploding. Jebediah is not going to be too far behind. I suppose we could, we could do the thing where we try to kill our vertical motion. Alright, go. Oh, maybe I should have started sooner. Yeep! Oh my god! Jebediah? Why have you ragdolled? There you go. Jebediah? Oh my god! You survived! I collected all the data. We're fine! Holy shit! This is the greatest thing ever! Jebediah, we are gonna come find you. How come I can't... What? EVA report. Oh, probably because I'm already holding one. Review stored data. Hey, let's plant another flag. Come save me flag. That's what this one is. Holy crap. Come save me. And this is Lowlands, just so I remember what thing is. Bring snacks. And latest episode of Game of Thrones. Boom. Alright, so just to review here. We have the mystery go from the surface. We have temperature scan, surface sample, material study, seismic scan, temperature scan, atmospheric... We have all of our science, and Jebediah is alive. Where are you? Are you roughly equatorial? You should be. How come I can't... Oh, there we go. I was looking south. Yeah. We can fucking do this, you guys. We can fucking do this. We can send an unmanned capsule, or maybe even better, we can use a... either the 2-man lander or even the 3-man capsule. We could bring a scientist down here with us to reset some stuff. Actually, we won't need to do that. Holy crap! Holy crap! Are we in a flattish area? Yeah, there's some hills. I mean, if we land over there, it'd be nice. I don't know with what kind of precision we can land. Maybe I should bring a rover? I have no idea what the next episode is going to look like. Oh my god, I've got to design a whole other ship. I suppose, okay, tell you what, let's, just in case it crashes when I change scenes, let's do a quick save. And let's go to the Space Center. The rest of this episode will be starting to design a ship. So if you're not into, like, watching the sort of ship design stage, that's totally fine. I'll see you next time, that's okay. But those of you who want to, like, see while I try to figure out what the frack I'm going to build. So one of the things is I clearly didn't have enough Delta V to leave. I actually don't know. I need to bring up Kerbal Delta V map. Just as a shortcutty kind of thing over here. And hopefully it's one that's been updated for the new version. Well, I guess it doesn't matter too much. Ballpark is fine. So ballpark, we need about 1,300 Delta V. So I can't remember. I think I had about 1,000-ish. I'll have to review the video. So not quite enough to get there. Although maybe I had 1,300 Delta V, but I didn't, come off at a good angle or anything of the sort. So the question is whatever we're going to land with Jebediah ever going to come back home? In which case, it would need to have either this command pod or this command pod to be able to handle the atmospheric landing. And I think I do. Whatever it is, I want to be able to bring it home because all the science that's in our space station that is, like, once it's been sent to be processed, we want to load that into a ship and bring it here for maximum science. We could just transmit it, but there we go. So tell you what, let's do the command pod, and we'll stick a Probodobadine on top. Can we use the smaller one? I mean, the smaller one's got more features, but less reaction wheel. Actually, no reaction wheels. Or... yeah. And then there's the hex one, which I think is tiny. Oh, no. 6-sided. Oh, but it does have more powerful reaction wheels, which I guess don't really matter because the core itself has them. You know what? We'll use the octo because it's got 8 sides. More sides to stick things on. It doesn't really terribly matter. Oh, I guess this is... we can actually mess around with this design quite a bit because this is also the thing that's going to... It needs a docking clamp. Junior or regular actually doesn't matter at this point, except the regular one doesn't fit properly. So we... What? There we go. Wasn't snapping. There we go. So this thing can dock to our space station. Good. For the sake of argument, I will go ahead and stick a heat shield on here in case I happen to come home a little too fast. And we want some parachutes. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the two radial mounts, same as last time. But in the back, I will go ahead and add a proper drogue chute. In fact, I might add 2. Because I might deploy them one at a time, just in case. Where's the drogue chutes? There we go. Just in case I sort of screw up at the first time. I'll deploy the first one, make sure it doesn't get ripped off, then deploy the second one. Something like that. Min pressure, I guess I can keep those stats. I will, again, set the altitude a lot higher. I mean, even coming into Kerbal, you can set the altitude a lot higher. Tell you what, that should be enough to rest our motion completely. I think we reached at 1,000 meters above the surface with the parachutes last time. We got everything we could out of this. I suppose more parachutes might conceivably lead to us not needing to burn retro quite as much. Although as long as we got proper landing gear, we're going to be okay. And these things will deploy, they'll initially deploy at 0.02 atmosphere, which will be right around 15,000 feet, and then fully deploy at 2,500 above the surface. Again, you know what? I'll make these fully deploy at like 5K. And I will manually launch them and make sure one doesn't get ripped off first before I do anything else. Okay, so in any case, we're going to be returning back to Kerbin with this. So we'll have to repackage them at the Science Center. So we're going to make sure we've got more... well, I'm still going to want science, of course. Right? So we're still going to want a material science because we're going to a new biome. Like so. And like so. But we're going to want more delta V, which just means mostly more fuel, since our actual thrust to weight should be fine. So what I think I'm going to do is put in one of these, and then we'll go with a trio of these bad boys on the side. That is not lined up straight. You know what the easiest way to do it would be on the back. Like that. And see, they're lower as well, so I'm still happy with that engine. I think the swivel engine is still great for this maneuver. Actually, what I could do is bring this down as low as possible, like that, and then attach the landing gear to those. Again, the biggest bad... I mean, I could use the LT1s, but I may as well use the LT2s. Actually, for all I know, last time I was using LT1s. That might have been part of it. So if I retract those... Obviously, lots of room under the engine. In fact, they don't have to be quite this stupid looking. Because, whoa, that is not what I want to pull off. Actually, let's make sure we're still aligned. There we go. Yeah, I want to actually grab this. And then make sure we're lined up. And line up the bottom. And really, the higher up they are, the more... The less tall we are, so the less likely we are to tip over. So hopefully that's good. I could, I suppose, stick another reaction wheel in here, which will help us, when we land, have more forces fighting to keep us upright. Which, honestly, I think is a good idea, because we are landing in the lowlands, which are still, you know, they're not flat. Is it in command and control? Yeah. So advanced stabilizer wheel, right like that. So there we go. So we get even more... forces that can keep us straight when we land, even if it's a wee bit crooked. Okay, how much delta V are we packing at this point? Oh, I was going to say, why so little? Well, it's because in this configuration, the fuel does not flow from one to the other. So 1564, which is sufficient if I do a perfect ascent from Duna, and also don't use a whole lot of fuel landing. So I don't trust myself to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And even on Kerbin, we have a thrust-to-weight ratio of 2.14. So on Duna, we're going to have tons of thrust-to-weight ratio. and an overkill of delta V. So this is what we're landing with. I like it. Plus, you know, extra science and power and yada, 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 which I suppose I could put on now. In fact, I should put on now because it's going to affect my weight. So let's make sure we've got it right. So we're going to bring a full complement of science experiments because we are landing a new biome, so me as well. We want symmetry to be turned off. Hello. What? That was weird. My hotkeys weren't working. I don't understand. Okay, because Shift X not working. Why isn't... Because you can go and not be symmetry over here. I mean, clearly, because if I do it this way, then I'm not doing symmetrical stuff. That's weird and annoying. Oh well. One of those. Goo canister. I suppose we can put everything on one side for convenience. It makes our ship slightly less even, but these don't weigh very much, so it's hardly a thing. Anything we want to be able to, that's what we've already got. Anything we want to be able to like recover, it's nice if it's in a nice convenient location. Our scientists can just, or rather, Jeb will be able to just land here and collect all the science in one go without having to bounce around too much. We'll put that over there. Good. We'll put an antenna maybe on the other side. Excellent. We will need power. So let's start with a battery. Just the 400 charge battery is more than enough, and we can stick that in the back because we don't actually have to get to it. Again, on launch from Kerbin, we're going to have some atmospheric, you know, inefficiencies, but it's not the end of the world. And then solar power. Well, 2 is more than enough. What I'm thinking of is here and here. So it's not going to interfere with anything. Should be lots and lots and lots of power. Nicely at an angle, so basically, yeah, there's no real way for us to get sun screwed. That's good. For convenience, I will put some ladders here. I don't think I need the retract. Well, you know what? Let's get the extendo ladders. Where are they? This one here, the big long one. No symmetry mode, that's good. So you can climb up to here for one. If we extend it, good. Should be easy to get to. And then what I'll do is I'll use the non-extendo one here, just to make it easier to sort of hop / use RCS to get there. Maybe hop from here to there. Something like that. You know what? Let's throw a second one on there. That does not block the materials bay. We've used that before. Okay. Still a good amount of delta V. However, we don't have any RCS on yet. Where is our center of mass on this bad boy? Boop. So if the RCS is lined up at the center of mass, we don't need quite as much. It's nice when you gotta force them, because then if you're burning properly on the correct axis, it only uses one at a time. But given our layout, I think it might be quite convenient to just have them way out here. A little lower maybe. Oh, the center of mass may change when that's not deployed. No. Is that going to smash anything? Is that a problem? I actually don't know. It's probably fine. We can do some test deploys on the Launchpad and make sure that it's working okay. It would be nice. I don't have custom action groups. It would be nice if I had like my drogue set to hotkeys like 1, 2, 3, 4, like all my parachutes, so that I could activate them individually. I suppose I can just have them on separate stages. That might be perfectly fine. Like that. Like that. And then this separation stage, I'm actually going to move to the top. Because when we land on Duna, we're going to want to fire these. I'll probably have to rearrange them when it comes to getting back to Earth. But other than that, we're okay. So, assuming the parachutes work pretty well, then this should work. We should use very little, if any, delta V landing. In fact, if all goes well, we won't need any. We do need to get our speed down to 12 meters per second for the landing strut to not get crashed. And they're all the same. So we'll probably need a little bit of retro burn right before we touch ground. God, I hope this design is good. All right, we got batteries. We've got this. I really need to keep a checklist around for these sorts of things to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. We got the science taken care of right away. I don't think we need to build any struts here. Got the extra reaction wheel, which is, I suppose, fine. Atmospheric, or our aerodynamics are very questionable, but we'll be okay. All right, let's grab this, move it way up, and let's build our trans Duna injection stage over here. So this is basically the thing that will get us to Duna, and will ideally put us into Duna orbit. Although push comes to shove, we can use this to establish orbit, dock with the space station, fill up on fuel, because there's enough fuel left at the space station to be able to accommodate something like that. But if I just grab the FL800, and then this could really be a Terrier engine over here, and just 1,000 delta V on this stage, which I think is technically enough. But you know what? Let's go bigger. We need an adapter like this. And we'll use... I don't think we need the giant Rockomax. Hang on. How much fuel does this store? This stores 1,400 liquid. Oh, quite a bit more. So even... Really? Oh, even this one has twice as much fuel. That's got to be enough. And if we throw on the... I think the Poodle is even more efficient than the Terrier. That'll be 1,600 delta V. I'm betting this is enough to get us to Duna. I suppose the one argument can be made if we go with the larger fuel tank is that we can also use it maybe to circularize or orbit or something like this. But I kind of like the slightly less here. So this isn't a vacuum. So I'm good with that. Decoupler. So now we're concerned with the thing that will launch us from the surface of Kerbin. So use a big one of those. A mainsail is probably overkill. So we do need more, but that's okay. We just throw some extra fuel tanks. You know, I've never done anything with like the twin bores. What is if if I took this aside and just threw a twin bore on here, what does this do for me? Wow, that's a lot of thrust to weight. Some decent delta V, but yeah, it's actually just overkill. We're not shipping that much weight in here. So I think all we need really at this point is some radial decouplers in triple symmetry and basically aligned with the others here, so they sort of occlude each other for aerodynamics. Because if this is already causing drag up here, it'll sort of prevent this from creating drag the same way. Then grab the 800 fuel tanks. And then throw probably some swivels. For, actually, you know what? The Reliance are going to be fine. We can throw some fins on here, too. These should probably have some little nose cones. Easier to throw them on that one over there. And then if we grab the fuel line, so it's not asparagus staging, just a little bit of extra liquid fuel on the side. Change our stages, so all the engines go, then that break off. What are we looking at now? Right, these two here. 2,800. That's actually not as much as I was hoping. We might have to actually go for a slightly more sophisticated... Well, we've got thrust to weight a little bit to spare. So now we're looking at 3,200 delta V. If we had really good aerodynamics, that would be enough to get us into Kerbin orbit. But I don't know that we do. The most efficient way, the best way to get delta V is to add more liquid fuel. We could also go with just a wee bit of solid rocket booster. Which mostly, solid rocket boosters are mostly there to add thrust to weight ratio as opposed to delta V. Let's come on, move this stage up here, move that over there. But it does contribute. So thrust weight ratio of 2.04 for only a little while, which isn't going to be too much to screw up our aerodynamics. Be maybe more delta V efficient to build asparagus staging, but this will be fine. So that adds the extra 600 delta V that will guarantee that we get into orbit. Total ship delta V is 7,400, of which we have somewhere between, so this is atmosphere at Kerbin. If I actually switch this to the atmosphere on Duna, because there's less atmosphere, our atmospheric delta V is more efficient. So really our lander phase is going to have almost 2200 delta V. So that should be more than enough to take off and land, assuming, you know, we land, or to land and take off in that order, assuming, of course, that we actually land properly. We've got solar panels up here, which is going to be more than sufficient for everything we need. I'm going to go ahead and throw on some fins to help us steer within the atmosphere. I like the Delta Deluxe, and 3 should actually be plenty. He says, hopefully. Now, we're not that long, which is good. The top is pretty whacked out, which may conceivably lead to us having to fight a lot of drag. You know what? Slightly more expensive. And slightly more heavy, so we lose some of our delta V. But let's go with 6 fins. That should be, like, overkill stability. And then throw some parachutes on our side bits. Radial mounted parachutes. I think 1 should be sufficient. Like that and like that. Which one's on the rocket boosters? The solid rocket boosters, so that goes there. And this one is on the fuel ones, which will go up there. We're not going to recover this stage over here in the middle. Okay, so everything goes on the side. We drop off the SRBs. We drop off the liquid tanks. We then separate these 2 stages. I can move the engine to fire at the exact same time, which is nice. I'll do the same thing over here. In case I am in the middle of a burn, then I just hit space and it continues the burn. I've got this, having this up here is completely wrong for actual re-entry to Kerbin, but because I'm going to be going to Duna first, I actually do want to space through one drogue chute, the other drogue chute, and then finally both real parachutes on the side there, and hope to God that is sufficient to bring us to a halt. We've got our docking clamp on the top. It is a junior one. We've got the adapter still on the space station, so that will work perfectly fine. We've got our science experiments, as far as I know. I've got them all. We've got a battery pack. I think this will be fine. Should we launch it now? Yeah, you know what? Again, this is not necessarily always the most interesting parts, but this is going to be Duna Lander Mark II. But yeah, next episode will be exciting stuff. We're actually trying to land this fucker there. So we'll tell you, we'll do the launch. And because I've been using the Ascent module for MechJeb lately, just because it's a great way to start an episode, so I can talk instead of concentrate on driving, let's go ahead and make sure that I've still got what it takes to launch one of these ships. And then between episodes, I'll take care of all the getting this guy to Mars, etc., etc., etc. We don't need the surface info. We do want the orbit info. Don't actually need the delta V, but that's going to be okay. So we're going to go ahead, and I won't use the smart ASS at all. We'll just turn on the normal ASS. We're set to full throttle. With this ship, I will probably be a little bit more delicate with my gravity turn, not quite as aggressive, but we'll see how it goes. You know what? I can already see these things are bowing out from lack of support struts. So let's go ahead and revert that right away. Oh, I want to test a couple of things real quick. Right, every control has changed. What did I want to test? Oh, I want to test that if I toggle the gears a couple of times, that's not going to smash my RCS thrusters. No, we're okay. All right, so revert flight to the VAB. I should probably actually put some the ground support thing as well. Not that it seems to be balancing perfectly fine on this engine, but it's a little playing with fire. So support struts we are going to attach symmetry on from here. I guess that will work perfectly fine. Another one from there. Wow, did that not... Oh, first of all, I put it in the wrong place. Let's try there, and then rotate around onto that. Okay, that's good, and yeah, we'll put on some launch stabilizers. Just on here. Oh, because you know what? The other thing, I have to make sure that I'm in the right place to launch this, to actually encounter Duna. Well, I suppose I can go into orbit and then wait. Doesn't really make a difference, does it? Yeah, okay. So we'll launch. I'll get this bad boy into orbit because it's got unlimited power, and then I'll probably have to fast forward for like several months. Okay, Launchpad. Fast forward to several months until Duna is in the right place, and then do that. So yeah, I'll do all that stuff between episodes, but let's go ahead and launch. Make sure I still have the right stuff. Okay, that is looking a lot more stable. What I did forget, though, is to put these things on the same stage as my engines. SAS turn on, full throttle, go. Okay, let's give it a little bit of roll. Alright, otherwise, I'm definitely going to be trying to keep it within the prograde circle, because that means effectively quite a bit less drag, because if I'm pointing to where I'm going, I'm not getting any sideways drag, which is good. Not running particularly fast, I'm not sure why here. Alright, our SRBs are about to go. There we are. And okay. Can't remember if I've got swivels or reliance on the side here. So far, controls feel good. Nothing too wobbly, despite the fact that I don't have like huge support struts all the way up there. But we are drifting a little bit southwards. So I'm going to try to bring that back to a little bit more directly east. One way or another, we'll probably have to do a slight inclination change once we're in orbit, just to match Duna properly. There we are. What's my altitude? Okay, 10,000. I'm liking this. We might be rolling a little bit more than I want. But actually, no. I still like to target about 45 degrees at the 15K mark. I'm going to slow it down just a bit because I don't have huge thrust to weight ratio. If we roll over all the way too fast, then I might actually not be able to reach orbit, because we're starting to fall quite a bit. What's my time to apoapsis? Yeah, I definitely want to aim left of the prograde marker to try to bring that up, because right now it's not enough. Left, 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 left. Luckily it's thin enough now that the fact that I'm mostly moving sideways here, and I'm trying to aim up. Yeah, my thrust to weight is really low right here. Well, low-ish. Okay, it's improving. We are fixing things. But I probably would have wanted to launch a little bit more vertically, slow down my gravity turn a wee bit more. Because this is not terribly efficient, because we are getting drag. The angle between the prograde and where I'm facing is generating drag, so I'm actually losing some of the speed that I've already invested in, which is too bad. Okay, time to apoapsis is going up, which is good, which means effectively we're raising our apoapsis instead of getting to it a little bit too close. And of course, you can see all this on the map over here, but it's quite inconvenient to switch back and forth all the time. And it's prettier when you can look at your rocket instead of the globe. Okay, definitely in good shape, I'd say now, to aim basically prograde at this point. Actually, we could change to orbital prograde. Yeah, there we go. The apoapsis time is still going up. In fact, I'll be very, very comfortable going full on horizontal whenever our prograde marker gets there sort of naturally. I'll be really happy with it. Because even if we go full horizontal at this point, our apoapsis will continue to grow. I think actually we're very good to do this right now. Fuel in the stage is still excellent. Time to apoapsis is shrinking, but I actually think the rate at which the apoapsis itself is growing is going to be okay. We might end up having to pitch up a wee bit. Alright, let's go back to facing prograde. There we go. Overall, pretty good. Nice and stable. But again, it's sort of like, it's tedious stuff in a sense. Once you figured it out, like, certainly, you know, part of the challenge is, ooh. Okay, this sucks in the atmosphere. Luckily, we're in pretty thin, but we are going to lose some of our efficiency that I was hoping to get there. Alright, I'm going to keep this, even though our time to apoapsis is going up quite a bit. Basically, I'm trying to help us leave the atmosphere kind of as soon as we can, just because this is crap efficiency here. In fact, we are burning our delta V a little faster than I'm comfortable doing. Okay, our apoapsis is high enough. I'm going to kill it at exactly when we get to about 100K here. Of course, we're still in the atmosphere, so it'll drop a little bit, because we have to get to 70,000 before we're out of the atmosphere, but we're most of the way there. So I think that could have been, I think if I'd delayed my gravity turn a little bit more earlier on, then I wouldn't have been fighting the drag quite as much. So I think with the rocket I was with, a little steeper would have been better. But the problem is, or part of the issue was just that I didn't have quite the thrust to weight in that middle stage. Maybe if I'd used a mainsail instead of whatever the thing it's called, then that might have been all the difference in the world. Actually, maybe I was using a mainsail. I don't remember. But there we have it. Now, did we recover our bits? In fact, I believe we did. Yeah, stage recovery. Excellent. Stage destroyed. Oh, these are some of the debris things from previous flights. There we go. Apoapsis is dropping a little bit because there's still a bit of atmospheric drag, but we will definitely make it out. In fact, if it comes out really well, it's entirely conceivable that by the time I leave the atmosphere, the apoapsis will drop to exactly 100k. Now, 100k is not the magic number. There's nothing specifically I was going for. In fact, in theory, probably it would have been the most fuel efficient potentially to establish an orbit at like 71k, perfectly circular. Although that would have meant a little bit more time in the atmosphere, but I would have had to rise up a little less. 100k is just sort of a nice round number for me to aim at. So that'll happen in its own. In fact, the periapsis, technically we're orbital. Except for the fact that the periapsis is within the atmosphere. But yeah, we are actually a really circular orbit, so that's quite nice. Now the question is, where is Duna relative to us? Scroll out. Okay, so Duna is behind us. We don't want that. We want Duna to be around here. Alright, solar panels extended. And we want to, again, I can do it manually. Aim prograde. But again, it's another one of those sort of tedious things, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Even though I don't technically have a computer module or a pilot. Oh yeah, I didn't even look to see. Fuck, we brought someone with us. Bill is an engineer. Listen, Bill. Congratulations. Wow, we're going to have to remember to dock you. Oh, crap. We are going to have to dock with the station so I can dump Bill off. And Bill will serve no purpose for us. Oh, well, you know what? It's going to give him a bunch of experience points. Because he's going to go into Duna orbit. He'll get a bunch of experience points when we eventually bring him home. This is going to be Lander 1, but at some point I'm going to probably build, like, not literally a space plane, although maybe, but something that can haul a lot of people simultaneously. Well, actually, after we do some of this Duna stuff, we're going to start on a bunch of the tourist stuff. There's a mod that I've got installed based on people's recommendations. Oh yeah, that's okay that stage went away. That adds a bunch of cool new tourist missions, so we will definitely be looking into building a ship that can haul a lot of people simultaneously. Alright, let's go and fast forward until our apoapsis is pretty close. Really? Oh, we're probably hitting some shores or weird tundra bits. Yeah, we're not EVAing those things. It's really not gonna... Whoa, 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 whoa! I was gonna say, it's really not gonna take much burn to get there, but I still overkilled it a bit. But that's okay, we're still basically at our apoapsis. So if I go ahead and start the burn, we'll be circularizing, and we're not really changing our apoapsis too much. And there we go. I mean, I can round it off a bit, but, you know, who cares? We're not going for style points here. I do like the little squish that happened there. Oh, look at this! 100, 103. Good God, that's potentially one of my best orbits ever. If I hadn't, like, forgotten to empty the command module, this would have been basically a flawless launch. But as is, we accidentally brought Bill. I could get Bill to EVA and just leave him in orbit for someone else to pick him up later. Let's do it. Bill's tough. He's one of the originals. The only question is, do we have enough Delta V in this to get to Duna without having to do a dock? Because if I have to use any of this fuel to do my orbital stuff... No, I guess I do. I'm going to need basically all of this fuel here to leave Kerbin, which means I will use some of the fuel in here to enter Duna orbit. Although I could aerobrake the whole thing. And I could go and... No. I was going to say, I don't have to get into orbit of Duna. I could just go for the aerobrake and directly land without ever going orbital. But I have to go orbital so that I can plan our landing to rescue Jeb. So, which means I will have to burn fuel out of here to get into lunar orbit, which means I will want to dock with the space station to fill this up, which means I can drop off Bill at the space station. So I don't have to just jettison him here. Bill, you are very, very, very lucky. Congratulations, buddy. So yeah, what I'm going to do between episodes is I'm going to time warp to get Duna to be here-ish, and then we're going to take off, and then we'll encounter Duna somewhere around here. And in fact, I may go ahead and do all the orbital rendezvous and docking, and then next episode will be the trick of, can we land where we want on Duna to rescue Jeb? Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.